Hello! Here I go again with the audio problems. Wait. Okay. Alright. I'm really loud. Okay, so hi everyone. Hello, good evening, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. My name is Martina. And today we are going to talk about carbs. So C, is it? No, that way, is that way. C. C is for carbs. So I'm doing the alphabet challenge. And today we're going to talk about carbs. So, first of all, this video is geared towards especially women 35 years and over, because that's me. And if that's you, stay tuned. Click that share button, click the start watch party button if you want to share this video with other women who are 30, 35 and above, especially if you're interested in what is it with carbs. Do we need them? Not carbs, Bustian. Carbohydrates. So do we need them? Are they essential? Is there a difference in how much do we need them? Do we need them more than men? So we're gonna within the next hopefully 10 to 15 minutes, we're gonna talk about all of those things. Also, how carbs can help you lose fat. Yes, you heard that right. So if you're interested in what I have to say, stay with me. Share, start watch party, and send me some hearts. I would really like to see those hearts going up as I talk. So, also, if you're watching this live, comment down below, say that you're watching live, so type in live. If you are watching this in a replay, type in replay. It's so complicated. Anyways, before I start, a quick disclaimer. Everybody is different. So if you have been doing, whatever. So if you've been doing a low carb diet that's been working for you, yay, Bustian is alive. That's really good to know. So if you've been doing a low carb diet and it's been working for you, you feel great, you've been doing it for a long time, not as in, a month and whatever, but a longer period of time, if it's working for you, if you feel great, then by all means, stick with it. This is just my reasoning why I prefer, by low carb, I mean really low carb, so 10% or less of the daily intake. So really, really low. But if you're doing low carb, at least get some vegetables in, so that you also get micronutrients. All right. So what I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to be describing my personal experience, what works for me, what I have the knowledge about, and what makes sense to me as a woman, and what also makes sense in terms of a healthy gut microbiome. So, hi Maya. So if you are watching this right now, you can just type in, do you prefer low carbs or more carbs? So just type in low carb or yay carbs, whichever you prefer. It's really fun watching your videos, with your comments pop up while I'm doing this video. Okay, so why do I believe that carbs are so important? Especially if you're a woman, and especially if you are an active woman, which if you are not, if you're a woman and you're not active, you should be. I talk a lot about why moving our bodies is so important, and you're not going to get the butt that you want by sitting on it, so, get moving. All right, so a few of the reasons why I believe carbs are important. I'm going to talk about the quality of carbs a bit later, but a few of the reasons are that carbs are a preferred energy source for our bodies during exercise. So if we have carbs in our system, glycogen, we can achieve higher intensities and we can train for longer. Also, carbs are a very good source of fuel for the brain and the central nervous system. Then carbs can help us burn excess fat from two reasons, because you can reach higher intensities, so you burn more calories, and because it protects, if the body is using glycogen for the energy source, it protects the muscles from being broken down as an energy source. So that's the two reasons. There's also other stuff like, supporting a healthy immune system, and I don't know about you, but carbs help keep me sane-ish. I don't know if anyone can relate, PMS, stuff like that. If you can relate, type down in the comments if you know about PMS and what carbs really do for us when we need them. Alright, so as you type those in, I also want to talk about the source of carbohydrates, because it does matter. It matters a lot. Women, as we age, we get more sensitive to carbs, which means if the source of the carbs is not the right one, it could be detrimental for our blood sugar as well as our metabolism. So starchy vegetables, things like sweet potato, winter squash, yams, then root vegetables, so carrots, onions, also corn, tubers, stuff like beans. These are all preferred sources for our bodies when we're talking about carbohydrates. And the other thing that's also important is timing. So it is better to have carbs for breakfast or in the first part of the day, and then around your workouts, especially if you have more intense workouts or longer workouts, especially after a good workout. It's very essential to bring in also some carbs. Let me know if I'm making sense. Comment down below if this is making sense, or is it just too complicated. If I need to, I don't know, maybe use some different words or something. Okay, now, why do I believe that really low carb diets, low carb, high fat, aren't necessarily okay for active women? So number one, I already mentioned, because of our brains. So the preferred energy source for the brain is carbs, is the glycogen. For example, did you know that up to 25% of our energy budget is used by the brain, and up to 60% of the blood glucose is used for the brain. Now, it is true that the body can synthesize glucose from other sources, not just from carbs, but it's not as efficient as the glucose from the carbs. And also, if we compare our genes with the genes, not genes as in clothing genes, but DNA, compared to primates. So what primates are, monkeys and stuff. Not monkeys, but primates. If we compare the two, we have about 30% more of the salivary amylase genes, and those evolved so that we can digest starch better. So, even from an evolutionary standpoint, even from a genetic standpoint, we are adapted to digest starchy carbs. And the second reason why I believe that very low carb and high fat diets aren't necessarily good for active women, I'm talking lower fat, not zero fat. Fat is also important. I'm going to talk about fat at another time, but I mean lower fat and I'm going to talk about numbers a bit later, but lower fat and now I got confused. Anyway, because there's a lot of talk about keto diets right now, about low carb, high fat, how it's effective, how it helps the body to start using fat as fuel, which is true. Just stick with me for a bit. So low carb, high fat diets increase fatty acid oxidation, which means that the body starts during exercise, it starts using fat as a secondary and then primary energy source, and it also encourages intramuscular fat storage, which means that the body is going to be adapting in a way that the more we do it, the more we exercise and stick with the low carb, high fat diet, the more effective it's going to be at using fat as an energy source primarily during exercise. Which I know sounds good, but especially for active women, low carb diets tend to elevate cortisol levels. So cortisol is the stress hormone. So because our hormones are different from men's, our cortisol levels go up. And that in turn increases the muscle breakdown when we exercise, as well as it sort of harms the protein synthesis. So it harms the building of the muscle. So that's two ways how we are basically harming our muscles if we go low carb, high fat and are very active, because we're breaking down muscle, and we all know that muscle is really important, especially for women. So elevated cortisol, not good for keeping and building muscle, as well as it also taxes the immune system, which is already under attack because we are exercising. That also brings up the cortisol levels. I hope that made sense. If not, you can just rewind or type down below if some of that was unclear. So what do I recommend? What to do? Now again, I'm talking really low carb, really high fat. I'm talking 10% carb, 70 or more percent fat. What I do, what works really well for me and what also makes sense to me, is having about 40% of daily intake in carbs, and then about 30 in protein and about 30 in healthy fats. Also, it's really important, like we talked about, that the carb sources are high quality. So no junk food, no processed foods, flour, stuff like that. If you get the majority of your carbs from starchy vegetables, root vegetables, from beans, corn, carrots, things like that, and also some grains, especially around the workouts and for breakfast, it's going to be really good for you. And then, of course, quality protein sources and quality fat sources. So that's what I do. That's what makes sense to me. That's what also makes sense to me in terms of having a healthy gut. I hope this was useful for you. I hope you got some value from this. If you got value from this, please send me some hearts. Sorry. Send me some hearts. Post down below some comments if there's anything that was unclear, anything you want to know. And for those of you watching from the States or from Asia, next week on Wednesday evening for the States and Thursday morning for Asia, we're gonna have a really, really amazing webinar that I'm really excited to be a part of. It's gonna be at 2 o'clock in the morning for me, so you know I have to be really excited about it to be awake at that time. So if you want to know more, let me know down below in the comments. Thank you for all of you who were with me, who were commenting, who were sending me hearts. I didn't see any hearts. I know you were sending them, but I didn't see them, so I don't know what's going on. Yeah, let me know if you got value from this. Thank you for being with me. I really appreciate it. Thank you for commenting, and I will see you guys again tomorrow. Bye.